Hey, what's up? It's Wyatt, and we're back with another episode of Why Stop Now. I'm your host, Wiley Mitchell, and with me today is Miss Erica Schroeder. Erica, have you ever been on a TV show before?
Nope, never before.
Well, you better get used to it, because I feel like you've got big plans, big things coming to you in your future where you're going to have to get pretty used to these interviews.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
So, let's talk a little bit about you. Where are you from originally?
I'm from a little town in California called Nuevo. It's kind of an hour north of San Diego in Southern California.
North. So are you like close to the border, or does that take you the other way, away from it?
I'm like an hour and a half from Mexico.
Okay.
So pretty south, yeah.
Have you ever been to Mexico before?
Yeah, a few times. My mom's from there, so we've gone to visit there a few times and just done some vacation down there, right by TJ. So I've gone we kind of have doctor's appointments down there because it's cheaper. So
hey, I get that. My aunt just went there for a doctor appointment. I get you.
There you go. Nice.
What made you decide to come to CMU?
I came for wrestling here. I had toured a few schools in California before, and I have family in Colorado, so I've been here before, but never to Grand Junction. So when I came here, the wrestling program was just amazing, and the facilities were really awesome. So I came here to wrestle.
Has it been a big adjustment from you coming from California to translate to life in Colorado?
Yeah, I miss the beach, but the mountains, I like the mountains more, so that's been nice. But it's kind of a desert feel, so similar to where I'm from, everything's kind of dead. So, but I love the college campus and the community. So, yeah.
That's great. So you're a junior here this year. Mm-hmm. What's your major?
Psychology.
And what made you decide to go into that field?
I came in with exercise science, but I just quickly switched to psychology just because I want to pursue a career like in ministry, whether that be doing worship leading at our church, at churches, or guidance counseling, working with kids, anything like that. So it's kind of just way more broad of a major than what I originally wanted to do.
That's great, and I feel like there's so many, that's what college is all about, is coming here thinking that you want to do something and then learning like, hey, maybe this would be a better fit for my life.
Exactly, yeah.
So you've been wrestling for a while now. Tell me, how did you get started in the sport?
Back in high school, my criminal justice teacher actually was the wrestling coach, and all of freshman year he begged me to come try it out because he was trying to recruit some more girls, and I was like, what? There's only 2 girls on the team, no thanks. And then sophomore year I went to one practice and fell in love with it. So ever since then I started out in Taekwondo for like 6 years, and then I just stopped that and just started with wrestling. So.
Taekwondo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Do those two, do wrestling and Taekwondo, correlate? Or was it a pretty big adjustment switching sports?
It was adjustment because Taekwondo is very much self-defense, like hands up, go away, whereas wrestling's like, come at me, let's go to the ground. So it was definitely an adjustment, but in the form of self-defense and stuff, I think that's like the only way they kind of would relate. So yeah, but it was a fun little transition. So.
That's great. So now you've been wrestling here for a couple years, and you've done really well in college. Tell me a little bit about the event you just got back from.
Yeah, we just got back from nationals. So regionals was 3 weeks ago, and to qualify for nationals, you had to be top 4 in the weight class, and I got 3rd at regionals, which was great. But then at nationals is all the regions coming together. Everyone who's top 4 in every weight class is there. And so we're all trying to make it to All-American status, let alone first place national championship. So yeah, I finally reached my goal of being an All-American this year, which was really awesome. I've been writing that down all 3 years, so now next year, my 4th year, I'll have a different goal just to reach higher. So,
and how's your goal going to shift?
I think I got to realize how much I'm capable of. I kind of, coming from a small high school and just limited knowledge on wrestling as a whole, coming to college, I was like, I don't really know that much. I'll just go as far as I can. But the amount of progress that I have made and like some people I know have made, it's just like, it's cool seeing how much you can grow in just a short amount of time if you're surrounded by the right community. So I think now how my goal is going to shift is just being aware of how much I can do and how much just to reach higher. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So you've competed at the national level now. Do you have any other goals with like to go? Wow, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
that question just really slipped me.
You're good.
What was your favorite part of going to nationals?
I think just being with my team, that was really fun. We have a handful of seniors who are graduating this next year, and it was cool just to be in an environment of people who just really want to get far. And the other thing was I also have been injured pretty much all of season, and I wasn't even going to go to regionals at all. But I decided just to wrestle and just try it out and see what happens, and went to regionals, qualified, and then I went to nationals, and I think it was super cool to see how much I could do there and just have this community of people, like I said, community just like cheering me on. And when I did All-American, my team was just the most supportive people like I could have imagined. Like my coaches were jumping up and down, and my team was just like yelling for me on the side. So I think that was just like a core memory I'm not gonna forget. So
what's it like when you get to that building and you know the competition that you're around? How do you handle that pressure?
I think every year it's been a little bit different, just with how much I've adjusted my mindset. But this year, walking into that arena, I really just had a lot of peace, actually, just because I went in really just surrendering the outcome. That was the goal of this weekend, was just to be joyful and just have peace on the weekend and know that I'm going to do as best as I can. I'm going to wrestle hard, and normally wrestling hard gets you good results. But even if I hadn't won, I knew that I would be proud of myself if I had wrestled hard and done my best with it. So that was kind of the mindset walking in. It was overwhelming at first, but I was just really peaceful of like, I'm here. Like the fact that I'm here after this season was just really cool, full of gratitude.
So now that you've finished your season, nationals, the All-American, all of that's over, and now you're kind of on a rest period to heal up from your injuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's that going to look like for you over the next few months?
A lot of rehab and physical therapy, but we also are having some off-season practices, which is a lot of technique. So regionals and nationals is really like the only data I have of my wrestling this year. Like I wrestled a little bit at the beginning of the season, but I want to take that data and just take it and run with it and grow this season, because even though I have an injury, there's still a lot of things that I can apply on the mat. And a couple girls, like my best friends, we all have this goal to we have certain goals, so we're all just going to kind of go in there together and really just encourage each other and get ready for next year, because next year's my last one and I want to make it good. So
when will that season start up again?
Middle of October, end of September. That's when it is, pretty much. End of September, all the way to March. We have a pretty long season, and then we also have off-season stuff, so it goes all year long.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy this year, or like in comparison to the 3 years that you've been doing it? How has it shifted?
Going in this year shifted a lot, because I really fell in love with the sport more than I ever had before. When we started in end of September, October, I was so excited just to wrestle and grow more than I ever have. My first 2 years, I was kind of just adjusting to what it means to be a collegiate athlete and how to wrestle well and apply the things I learned on the mat, when under stress. But this year I really was like, okay, I'm going to take that and run with it. Everything I learned this summer and off-season training, I'm going to go so hard. And then I got injured, and so it was just a shift of being intentional with things. I really learned how to be intentional this year on the sidelines. Instead of just sitting and moping around on the bikes, we have bikes all along the side. Sitting and moping around, I really just came up with different exercises and just tried to do things all lower body that I could do, so that I had the intention of getting back to wrestle soon, so that I wasn't hopeless, So that's kind of how I want to go into every season now, is just, my one more season.
Yeah.
It's just intentional, just knowing, hey, every practice, every single rep counts, and the more you do, the more it becomes habit. So on the mat during competition, it's easier to come up with that stuff than if you're in the practice room just kind of being lazy with it.
What advice would you give to What's the greatest challenge that you've had to overcome as a student athlete?
I think it was this injury this year. I had an injury last year, but it was at the end of the season, and so I kind of got to see my friends go on off-season stuff. But this year, in the middle of the season, was just sitting out and watching everyone get to improve. And like we say, like take data, like I had said, like go on all these tournaments and see how they're doing. And yeah, that was probably one of the biggest challenges. And then another one was just self-esteem. I think with wrestling, it's a very individual sport, and it's individual, but it's also has to do with your teammates.
Right.
But if you're in your head too much, like it will always catch up to you. And so learning how to like tune out all the negative voices and just really focus on controlling your energy and controlling how much you gave into practices and competition was something I didn't learn until this year, really. So, yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody who might be struggling, having to, that's dealing with an injury like you were?
Our mindset coach kind of this year gave us this thing to have 3 specific words for ourselves, and that's something I would encourage a lot of people to do is have 3 words to like live by almost. Like,
can you explain that to me?
So mine were intentionality, being a fighter, and like my third one kind of jumped around. I was like from being joyful and things, but it's like every single time we went into practice, you would focus on those 3 words and see how much you lived those out and how you felt. It's like, oh, out of 5, how intentional are you feeling today? Okay, you're going to give it your all. Oh, out of 5, are you being joyful in this practice, or are you going to be, like, where's your energy at? And the intentionality one is one that's, like, stuck with me a lot. I think I said that earlier, is just you can be intentional about how joyful you are. You can be intentional about how much you fight. But if you go in there with just this lazy mindset, whether it be an injury or whether it be you're ready to compete, you're never really going to succeed. Like you're just, even if you did win that match, but you had a really bad wrestling match, for example, like you don't feel good about that. Like anytime I've wrestled poorly but won, I'm like, oh yeah, I won, but I didn't wrestle well. So it's just intentionality with everything, whether that be in homework, whether that be sleep, nutrition, everything like that. So that's kind of how I was able to manage it.
I think it's great that you can like translate that to everything in your life. Mm-hmm. It's not just wrestling, but it sounds like you've made it kind of come a part of your identity. Like you said, homework, like all the different things that you have to do as a college student.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
It helps with time management.
That's something I struggle with a lot.
Yeah,
so.
it was a brutal transition, but.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Maybe I didn't touch on?
No, I think it's good. I just give all glory to God in this sport, and the people around me have just been really amazing. And so definitely your community and your circle are what makes you succeed in the long run. So I think it's just important to have those good community around you, have your good people. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you, and thank you for agreeing to come on my show today.
Of course.
I really enjoyed being able to talk to you. I've really been kind of mad at myself for how bad I've been tripping over my words today, so I'd like to apologize for that. But
it's okay.
Thank you again for coming on, and great job this season. I'm excited to follow you and see how it goes next weekend.
Thanks
or next
so much.
season.
Thanks so much.
Why stop now? The story is just getting started.